What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Personal Talk Podcast. And today I have mother, sister, friend, and event coordinator, Letty Ortiz. So everybody give a hand. So this episode, we're talking about relationships redefined. So as you already know, yesterday was Valentine's Day. Some people had a great Valentine's Day. Some people didn't. Sometimes some people had their sneaker link come through with the gifts. Some of them didn't, but we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things today. So basically, this is not the average episode. We're not going to talk about all the toxic stuff. We're just going to talk about more so how do you love yourself more? How do you discipline yourself? And we also going to talk about some of these different, debunk the alpha male, all that type of stuff. So we're going to definitely talk about a lot of these things today. So I'm going to let Letty take it. So the first topic today, we're going to talk about celibacy. All right. So what's your celibacy journey like? What made you start to do celibacy?
So far, it's been interesting, to say the least. What started it was a spiral.
Oh, okay.
A mental spiral.
Okay.
I had just got out of a situation with a guy, but he was cool though. He was not the worst of the worst. As crazy as that sounds.
Uh-huh.
But you know how you have certain things happening, you kind of like, okay, if this person was a good person per se,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And it still didn't work, then what is it? The only common denominator is me.
That sounds like accountability to me.
So if when you in toxic situations or you have people that have, I guess you could say, worse traits than you have, it's easier to shift the blame.
Yeah.
Or it's easier for those things to mask what's going on with you. But if you have like a copacetic situation, like I said, where, the person is not that bad, it was kind of just one of those things where, it kind of just didn't work. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
So it turns into, okay, well, now that we don't have all the toxic stuff going on, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem.
So you feel like you a toxic person?
No, I don't necessarily feel like I'm a toxic person. I feel like I've been in situations and environments where I've become that person to survive.
By being connected to these men that were. Is that properly to saying that right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I also, another accountability moment, have in a way been drawn to those people to hide so that I won't have to fix myself or take accountability for my flaws.
Man, can you repeat that one more time? I'm about to cry. You're about to make me cry. You take accountability? Boy.
So some people do that. They pick people purposely so that they can hide behind them and remain the victim.
That's deep. Yeah. That's deep. That part right there just hit me a lot. Like people, that's the thing. I think I did that before in a couple of relationships. I think I've avoided accountability for myself and find somebody that attached to me because it feels so familiar to be with somebody. You know what I'm saying? I think that for me, like even last year, like I said, I was on this whole tangent about dating and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It was I was searching for something, but who I ended up finding was myself.
Exactly.
I wasn't really looking for, these different women. It was like I was trying to find myself to actually be that person I needed to be. And like now, understood that, like, hey, like, okay, all these people that did me wrong in the past, it was okay for them to do that because I didn't love myself properly. So like if you see me, even now, you see me doing the stuff I do, whatever, and then you, in some situations, you try to make it like, oh, well, I see you talking about this stuff, but I'm gonna see if you're really about it. I'm gonna try to make him, do these things he talking about.
People,
Yes.
You definitely have people that'll be like,
is he really for real?
it's a button right there. Let me
Yeah, see if and then when they
Yeah.
do it, it's like I got them, and it's always go back. I talk about like Samson with the hair, right? Like the whole time, like, hey, just go cut your hair. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Come on, it ain't really your pal. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that, and that's true to life when it comes down to men discipline. Another thing you talked about when I go back is like how when you were dealing with toxic men, how that connection made you toxic. Like I was talking about this the other day. Like somebody was posting about like women taking accountability. I'm like, okay, we could talk about that. But the thing is, let's talk about what are you doing to lead properly? Like, what are you doing as a man that's leading properly? Are you doing everything you need to do? And that's how you doing everything. That's how you're doing 85, 90% of things you need to do to make sure that she's following accordingly. Because I see now women are naturally submissive to men that they know are disciplined.
Oh, yes.
And this discipline, like, it's not just about like going to the gym. Like, they know that if a naked woman came to you right now, she knows that you won't sleep with that woman.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because she's seen it before herself. Like, oh, I seen him doing semen retention and celibate stuff, and he never faulted with this, so why would he do that now? So like, she sees these things through what you're doing, bro. Like, you are the one that's being okay with these relationships you're in, right?
Yes.
And you are doing these things and you keep thinking like, oh, I'm going to just do this and it'll be it. No, bro. You have to take accountability for your actions. And you can't just go run to social media and say women are taking accountability. No, bro. Even if she isn't taking accountability, ask her why. What am I not doing as a man to do that?
Well, the thing is this. Yeah. I feel like when it comes to women, the underlining thing with accountability is kind of what you said, to piggyback off what you said, is trust. Yeah. All of that boils down to trust. You know what I'm saying? So if we trust you, we do look at you in a different light. You know what I'm saying? That eliminates a lot of the problems. Like how you see some women belittle men, talk to them crazy, like all those things. It's because somewhere along the line, a barrier of trust has been broken. It doesn't even necessarily have to be women. We could have been in a bad situation, and I'm expecting you to handle the business. I'm trusting you, and you flop. Okay. So now I don't trust you no more. So now I'm talking to you like you a boy and not a man. Don't make it right. At all.
So when the rent money due and I ain't got the rent money, it's over.
Why don't you have the rent money?
Because in that case, because you are financially irresponsible.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you financially, especially if I gave you some of my money to put towards this, so you got my money and your money, and you gonna run out and be irresponsible. I'm telling you, that sounds like some movie stuff. So in terms of accountability also, people are not willing to do the work. In order for you to be accountable, you have to be honest with yourself. Yeah. And in order to be honest with yourself, you have to know that you are not perfect. And you also have to know that regardless of if another person did something to you, like you said, what is it about me? It's not shifting the blame at all. Because you can still hold them accountable, but also hold yourself accountable. Because if you remove that pattern from your life, that pattern and cycle of those type of people, you can't control people, but you can control who you do and don't have in your life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Would you consider that a form of unreleased trauma?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And I say that because in the past, it's something I've talked about on social media. My best friend knows because we talk about this stuff all the time. But my relationship with my mom. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for something. Something. Sometimes you don't even know what that something is. But you're looking for something. And it causes you to get attached to people that you shouldn't be attached to. Like when I first got into adult dating, I would always have the mindset, I'm going to start my own family. If my family jacked up, they fucked up. So even though my intentions were good, the way I went about it was unhealthy. You get what I'm saying? So no matter what we go through, I'm going to stick with this person, and we might fuss and we might fight it, but that's okay. Because that's what I seen. And as long as I get my own family, that's all that matters. that's not the way it's supposed to go, though. You know.
That's true.
So you just kind of learn, and that's what I meant also by, you know, people turning into certain people to survive. You end up being a narcissist trying to survive when you're dealing with other narcissists, because you got to learn to outthink them. You got to learn to survive in a space with them.
Yeah. And then you also got to make the hard decision on letting them go.
Exactly.
And that's the hardest part, I think, that everybody, well, not, most people that are in them toxic situations, like we see so many examples of this, like from movies and stuff like that. Like,
yes.
you know, Dear Family Reunion, Blair Underwood, you know, all that stuff.
Yes.
We see that women don't feel like they have a voice. And it's not even a pick-me situation. I know y'all finna try to go ham on the real, but I'm talking about like, I'm just saying, yeah, like women don't feel seen because you're not doing the things to make her feel seen. Like, prime example, yesterday, you knew it was Valentine's Day. Even if you did wait last minute, here nor there, you could have did something.
Yes.
You could have did something to show your appreciation for what she's been doing for you. Because at the end of the day, I know when you dating and talking to people, most time you become a counselor and therapist most of the time to these dudes. Like they talk like Kendra said Pusha said about Drake on the phone for hours with a woman, hours talking about so many other things, right? Talking about the people next to him, all this other stuff. Like that is a real thing, and women go through a lot. Not saying that men don't, but I feel like in this side we in now, it's like a beating. Like they keep like beating women, like for real, like mentally. Like you on social media, if you talk bad about a woman, you finna be going viral. You know what I'm saying? But you talk about healthy relationships, you're gonna get like probably 5 views, right? But it's sad that we gotta go through this type of stuff when it comes to that. Like, it's really sad. But do you know, like, can you recall a time when you were in a toxic relationship, family friend or whatever, and you knew when to let go? Like, what was that moment for you? Like, you know what? It's time to let go. Like, it's been 5 years. It's been, you know, whatever. It's time to let go. Like, I want to hear this story.
You want to hear the story?
I want to hear the story, yeah.
Oh.
Story time. Letty Ortiz, story time.
Story time. Okay, so I kind of talked about this one on TikTok. Mm-hmm. So I was dealing with this guy. It wasn't until recently, again, I had an epiphany. I was talking to my best friend and I said, I realized that this person was always toxic. However, and a narcissist. However, his timing was always perfect because every single time he came into my life, I had something very tumultuous going on, and I needed a shoulder to lean on. And since it was already familiar, I leaned into it. Yeah. Instead of looking into myself, utilizing my support system that I already had. So, that story goes, I had a situation. It was when I only had my oldest son. He's 13 now. Okay. So I had a situation. I ended up in the hospital. When I got out of the hospital, I saw this person, right?
Oh, man.
I was getting my medicine from Walgreens.
The timing of this whole situation.
Right. Yeah. So I saw this person. Very, very bad time in my life. Very bad time. Yeah. I saw this person. He said, I know you. I said, yeah, I know you too. I said, we should exchange numbers. Cool. It's going great. Okay? We're calling, texting, spending time together, going on dates.
Y'all in honeymoon phase.
What?
Deep honeymoon phase.
What?
Okay.
The whole shebang. The love making is top tier. Yeah. You know, the whole shebang. And then one day I wake up and I don't hear from him again.
Hold on. Casper? For real.
After now, the honeymoon phase was going on for months.
Sheesh.
I'm talking about months where no problems, no arguments. Everything is copacetic, right? And then one day, nothing. Silence.
Are you texting, calling?
I'm texting, I'm calling. Yeah. I'm going to work all day at work. It's consuming my mind because I'm like, I'm analyzing the last conversations. I'm like, the last conversation, we fell asleep on the phone. You know, the conversation.
Right. Like, if I was on the phone, boy, that's almost marriage.
Right. So, especially during that time, you know what I'm saying? So, like, This is like early 20s, you know,
Yeah.
so early 20s in your mind, y'all
Oh, yeah.
deep. So, boom.
Oh my gosh.
We fell asleep on the phone. I'm like constantly recalling the last conversation, but it's eating me up. Like,
Yeah.
just nothing. About 3 weeks go by
With no talking.
with no talking, no contact, zero contact. After probably about the first week, I kind of gave up. My best friend knows how I am. I vented to her about it, whatever. But after like the first week or so, I gave up because I'm like, I just don't know what I did wrong. And at this time, I'm like a hopeless romantic. Like, I'm still kind of like a hopeless romantic.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. But at that time, it was like through the roof. So about 3 weeks go by. I get a phone call.
Was it his number at least?
No.
Oh my God. I said, I do it. It called for a different number. I do it. It's the plate.
It was an unknown
We'll talk about
number.
I know that, but hey, we'll talk about that later.
I pick up the phone. Hello? Where the fuck have you been? You know. This nigga had got on a plane and moved across the country.
What we talking? Where, like
Vegas.
Vegas? Oh, okay. Okay.
Vegas. So
I know you was on
instantly,
his head. I know you was on
I'm
his head.
upset. I thought you were dead. Like, I thought something happened to you. And not only were you in another state, city and state,
He in
you
a
were
relationship.
rich.
In a relationship.
A few months later, I'm real mean to him. Like, I don't play that. After that, it was over with. I know you alive.
He had you. Like he had
Exactly.
he had you soft, submissive, all of that.
I know you alive. I know you were intentional, and I know you were selfish with what you did. So I wouldn't talk to him no more. After that, he would just blow my phone up. A few months later, he called me again. The girl is pregnant. But to put the icing on the cake, he ended up coming back to Memphis with somebody else, and then she ended up pregnant.
Wait a minute. This dude ghosted you for 3 weeks, moved out of the country, moved to Vegas, got old girl pregnant, came back to Memphis, got somebody else pregnant?
Yes. So he's still
Jeez.
reaching out to me. I'm still being mean to him. Cool. So
And that's getting him off at this point because he getting a reaction.
Exactly.
He liked it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is something I learned along the way when dealing with him.
Yeah.
So boom. At some point he stops calling, right?
Yeah.
But my number has been the same for a while now. So he starts calling. He stops calling, I mean. So then he starts back calling. And around this time, I had just had my second son.
Okay.
I had just got out of a very toxic and abusive relationship. You see the pattern here? You see the pattern here?
Okay.
So boom, he calls. Finally, somebody familiar, somewhere I can
Mom
feel.
going through stuff.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
you just forgot about all the stuff he did.
Just forgot.
You forgave it. You let it go. It was
Not
like-
even forgave it or let it go, just
yeah.
kind of forgot because it was that one thing, you know how you just need a feeling.
Yeah.
And although I have my friends there, my friends are top tier. Don't get me wrong. These are my own personal things I'm going through and dealing with, right? So I have a good support system.
Yeah.
But he comes along and to be familiar with a male, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To get that affection, and I know you're going to give it to me because you've been trying to get me to forgive you for so long, so I'm going to use that to my advantage. That was my toxic trait in that situation.
Man. Then you get confirmation from a male that it's okay to feel what you're feeling. This is fine.
It's okay.
This is a safe
And
space.
to also know that just getting out of this abusive situation, if he come and try to mess with me while I'm here with you, I know that you're not going to let that happen, even though you're a jacked up human being. So either way, it was to serve me. It was never about him. It was to serve me. Okay. So he invites me over for dinner. I finally come. I'm like, okay, I'll come. He had been begging me. And he said, I have somebody I want you to meet. I said, okay.
Don't tell me you finna meet the son or daughter.
No.
Or the
the
girl.
mother of the son.
Wait, this is not real.
I'm
This,
so serious.
I wish this is like a Tyler Perry movie. Like this don't make
I'm
no
so
sense.
serious right now. And this is me giving you the watered down version so that we can get to all the key points of the story.
Yeah.
So he invites me over.
Man.
She had just had a baby. That baby around the time I had my second son. Right? Yes, they're literally a couple weeks apart. They're both born in May.
Ooh,
So
man.
we get there to dinner. It gets better. This finna trip you out. She's helping cooking and everything. She's there. She's like, oh,
Is this like an induction or something? Like, what are they doing?
Man, look.
Don't tell me they're trying to have you do poly. I ain't got time for this.
This girl looks me in my face. She's like, now, no, I'm fresh postpartum, both of us. But the difference is, I guess she's like sleep deprived or whatever. You know, and this is no offense to her, but she looks like a new tired mom.
Okay.
I step on the scene, skin glowing, hair shiny, the shape is still banging even though I just had a baby. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, wow. And he's sitting there like, yeah, I told you so. And I'm like,
what conversation? Why y'all talking about me for when I ain't even here?
Right. So we sit down to have dinner. He poured everybody a glass of wine. And he's like...
This story is wild.
She's like, yeah, he talks about you a lot. What do you mean? Like, she just had your baby. What do you mean you talk about me a lot? So he was like, yeah. And I told her that you my baby. You the woman that I really love. Nigga, she just had your baby. Can I say nigga? Nigga, she just had your baby.
Wait a minute. Wait, this is fun. Pause real quick. That happened to me before. Somebody told me that they told their husband that they in love with me, and that if I ever came back, I could take her from him. She told her husband this stuff. And mind you, I'm overseas minding my own business. I was just like, this is a real thing. It's not even no special people though. Continue.
So she's like, we just started talking about like memories we had and stuff, and she's like, oh, he takes you out on dates and does all these things with you. And I'm just like, he hasn't to you? Because at this time, I only know one version of him besides the little jacked up stuff that he did, remember? So...
You know the part one.
Yeah.
I got you.
I'm like on part one. So she's like confused. She's genuinely confused. And I'm genuinely confused because I'm like, you don't know this side of him? Like, you just had his baby. I would assume that you do if you just had his baby. Because at the point we was at, I probably would have had his baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was just taken aback. Okay, so it starts to be a regular occurrence where we're hanging out and stuff, right? At the house. He'll put her out when he feel like it so that we can kick it, like all type of stuff. At the time, I didn't know this, though. Okay?
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. We got to go back real quick. I know there's going to be some people asking about. So you knew he was in a relationship with the girl. They together, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. But he told her that you his boo, right? So... Would it fair to say that they trying to like put you in a poly situation, but technically you were the...
Absolutely not.
Not that?
He didn't care about that.
But he said he loved you but didn't love her, right? Or was that,
no.
Is that accurate?
So he did tell her that he loved me. He never told me that he loved her, though. He tried to make it as though she got pregnant and they kind of got stuck in that situation together.
Like a trap.
Right.
Oh, okay.
That's how he tried to lay it on me.
Okay.
Turned out, of course, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
So fast forward, we're gonna fast forward a little bit.
Yeah.
One day, because our kids were the same age, remember?
Okay. Play date.
Her first and my second.
Okay.
And they weren't even big enough to play.
Oh.
She called me one day. I forgot how she even got my number. I think it was because he called her from my phone.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah.
And she asked me what I was doing. I said, I'm about to go to Sam's Club, get my baby some diapers. She was like, oh, can I come with you? I need to get my baby some diapers. So I'm like, okay, cool. We get in the car. We get to Sam's Club. It was like, she was like, game on. He ain't nowhere to be found.
Time for me to talk to you.
Time for me to tell
Come to you as a woman.
Woman to woman. Hey, Barbara, this is Shirley. And I know that Negro ain't perfect, but that's my motherfucker, man. I done just laid down and had a baby for him, and you not finna walk away with him, because that's my man. So she starts laying it on me, telling me how he was beating her up, how he, even in postpartum, yes, and while she was pregnant, yes, this man had never put his hands on me, never even raised his hand to me. So it really bothered her that he was two different people when it came to me and her. It was like night and day. Belittle her, talk to her like she was nothing. And I guess she was in that mind state that if I just love him a little bit harder, you know, it'll stop and he'll love me back, you know. Her own personal things to deal with. I can't, you know, really speak too much about how she felt. But she starts telling me, like, everything. Oh, he repetitively cheats on me. He consistently brings me back STDs. And yeah. Yeah. And she said, oh. And so everything she's telling me, I'm real good for keeping a poker face. Like, when women do the woman to woman with me, I'll literally sit there like, that's crazy.
Not that that's crazy.
Like
that's crazy.
No, for real. That's crazy. You know, just let them get it out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Won't even allude to giving them any information about me and that person, anything. I'll just listen, literally with a straight face. So as she's venting, I'm listening, straight face. I'm like, okay, you know, I understand it, you know. So then I guess she felt like everything she was telling me was kind of not penetrating how she needed it to.
She wanted you to be more empathetic.
No, I was empathetic, but she wanted me to be a little bit, she wanted to tell me something that I didn't already know. And based on what she was already telling me in my response, it seemed like I already knew. Right?
Oh, okay.
So she gets to the end and she's like, oh, and I hope you haven't had sex with him yet, because I just had to go to the doctor because he gave me chlamydia. And I was like, he did what? Because he had just tried to
have sex with you.
Have sex with me. And I told him no, because I just had a baby. I'm fresh out of a situation. And I just can't put my body at risk like that.
Yeah. So
when she said it and she finally got that rise out of me, it was like, you remember that scene off of Why Did I Get Married?
Yeah.
And he said, since we telling everybody the
truth,
since we telling the truth.
It's about that moment.
And when he finished, he said, checkmate. It was like that. When she got the reaction, it was like, checkmate, game on. When he found out that we were at the store together, he was blowing her phone up. Yeah. He started calling my phone. He started calling her phone. He was cussing her out. Bitch, you better not tell her nothing. I'm going to kill you. He just going off like. But she told me, and after she told me, I dropped her off at home. I cut him off completely. I said, I can't believe you. I can't believe that you would even have the audacity to try to put me at risk. I thought more of you. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what y'all got going on. I thought more of you. So he was blowing my phone up. It was so bad to the point where, and these are stories that him and her told me about that period of time. We'll get to how I know the stories another day. Yeah. But anyway, he's in the living room on the couch grieving my absence while she's upstairs with their newborn baby, trying to take care of their baby, listening to Boosie Collins, I'd Rather Be With You, on repeat, on blast.
Oh my gosh.
The house.
Live crash out.
Real live crash out. To the point where she finally yelled downstairs one day, well, go be with the bitch then. It was that bad. I blocked him from my phone. He kept trying to contact me from my phone. And this was before we got like text app numbers and all that little stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it got so bad that he started calling and texting from her phone. Literally debowed. Oh, I'm sorry. Debowed her phone. And held it. Give me that. And held, I paid the bill on this phone. And held it hostage while he blew my phone up. So the very last time, that was only the second time.
Golly. Part 3?
Part 3. And then we're going to wrap this up. So the very last time, he laid it on thick. The the very last time. So the very last time. So again, a few more years go by. They done had another baby. So no, 2 more babies.
Yeah.
So they had 3 babies in total while he continued to drag her and treat her like crap.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. It never got better. So years go by. Right.
At this point, you what, 27, 28? Give or take? Because you said you started in the early 20s, right? So we like
Yes.
closer to...
So yeah, the
Okay.
second time we were in mid-20s.
Okay, because you
More
had your
closer to
last baby,
mid-20s.
right? Your kid.
So
Then, okay.
yeah, at this point, I had my last daughter. I had her in 2019.
Okay.
Okay, so it was around COVID,
Okay, yep. Got you.
but
Follow.
it wasn't because of COVID. My grandmother had just died, and I was on the floor. My people had to come pick me up off the floor. It literally knocked the wind out of me. Around this time, he didn't know that my grandma passed either. So this is the thing. His timing was always impeccable, but he never knew that things were going on in my life. Maybe it was just the universe. I don't know. Showing up to test me to see where I was at mentally. I don't know. But my grandma died. I had just went through another crazy situation with this guy. And my birthday was coming around. He was familiar. He said, I'm coming to town and I want to take you out for your birthday. So I said, okay. He took me to this nice restaurant, per usual. He always winded on me. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have done it. By the time he came back, he had a drinking problem.
The last time.
This last time, he would wake up early in the morning and drink. And just drink. And then after he would drink, he would want to get physical, but not in an intimate way. He want to fight. The first time this ever happened, we were sitting in the car chilling, right? We drinking. We're about to go in the house. We had just came from somewhere. Now, no, up until this point, he had never been violent with me.
I remember you talking about that.
We sitting in the car, and he says, "You ready?" And I say, "Yeah," because I'm thinking he's talking about going in the house. So he like, "Come on, let's go." So I'm like, "Okay." We get in the house, and this man hits me so hard that I slide back, like on the movies, like a Dragon Ball Z scene. Because I'm still on my feet. I'm serious. And so I slide back. Like, what just happened? Like,
Clothes, fists, and everything.
yeah. Yeah. So he's in a drunk rage. I don't know why. He starts storming towards me. And the next thing I know, we in there tearing it up. Because I don't go down easily. I'm tiny but mighty, okay? We in there scrapping. I'm talking about getting down, right? So bad, so till the next morning we wake up sore. It was that bad. So it turns into a series of fighting. And then at the time, when he came back, he told me he was moving back. He had a little house. He had a little car. Like all these things. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, he came back. He getting his stuff together, whatever. The house was in a bitch name. The car was in another bitch name.
So basically he didn't have it.
He didn't have it. Basically, he's built a community of women that are taking care of him.
And been doing that for years?
Yeah. I didn't know that, though. You know what I'm saying?
You would never know.
This is something that I kind of learned along the way. So, because he has a community of women taking care of him, one of the women that it was, she was convinced that they was about to be together, like get married and everything. Now, I was in a toxic mind state. oh, you gonna come over here bothering me? Ain't nobody gonna be happy around this motherfucker.
And that's when you officially got his toxicity, and you basically
We clashed.
yeah.
And I finally just let it out. Like, when I tell you I was pulling up in the middle of chill sessions, I'm sitting out here and I see this bitch car out here. And you better tell her to leave. And you only got a few minutes to do it. Or I'm finna tear this motherfucker up. And I'm watching from the corner as he move, everybody get the fuck out. Get the fuck out right now. At one point, the police had to get involved. Mm-hmm. And then, because I can't leave this out, because we keeping it real.
Yeah.
We went downtown to the courthouse and got a marriage license.
After all this stuff you've been through, you went and did that?
Because it was never about him. It was my ego.
Okay.
Because you got all these other women around you. That's what I mean by the unhealthy, toxic.
Yeah,
we gonna reign supreme around here. Okay? I'm gonna be at the top even if it ain't at the top for real. That's the mindset that I had. That Negro wasn't no prize.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. After the fact, he wasn't no prize. And that also drove a wedge between me and my friends, who are my family. That's my family. Me and my friends. Because he was jealous of the fact that I had a strong support system because he a narcissist. Narcissists want to strip everything away from you.
You want to dismantle it, yeah.
So that you can depend on them and they can give it and take it away as they please.
Yeah.
So he didn't like the fact that I had a strong support system. And in the midst of me hiding my truths from my family, and by my family, I mean my friends, I shut them off from that part of my life and I hid. It's like I balled up into a shell and I hid. This man I got pregnant by him too. He drugged me while I was pregnant.
Golly.
And when he drugged me while I was pregnant, I was already sick. He mentally tortured me all day because I was sick. You lazy. Why you just laying there? You all right? Ain't nothing wrong with you. All this type of stuff mentally tortured me the whole day. So to bring it full circle, because like I said, I'm just giving you the watered down version. My car ended up getting towed because he told me that he would give me the money to pay my car note at the time. It was behind like a couple months. My car gets towed. When the car gets towed, we were downtown. He left me downtown. Had called his people and everything. He was standing there when the car was getting towed. He hopped in the car and he left. My friend had to come get me. I got back to the house because I was living with my grandmother at the time. And I mustered up the strength to tell her. I was on the phone with my best friend and she said, I don't know. You're going to have to tell her what's going on this time because you're all out of options. I told my grandma what happened. She put the money in my hand and she said, look, if I do this, you know the terms and conditions. Ain't no more him. That's it.
So it took her to talk to you.
So I said, okay. And she gave me the money. It didn't even take that. I'm going to tell you what happened. She gave me the money. My best friend took me to go get my car. We went and got my car. And after that, he was still gone, but he was still calling my phone. You see how this moment is coming full circle from the beginning?
Yeah.
About a week or two later, he asked me, how would you feel if I moved back out of town? At this point, I don't care. Get the fuck away from me. He jumps states again and goes back to Las Vegas.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'm still at a point, I'm still pregnant, I'm still sick, I'm not working, all this stuff. So basically, you left me high and dry. So I went and got the abortion. My grandma gave me the money again to get all the documents annulled because it was still fresh.
Yeah.
You know, it was still within a period of time. And I got my car back. And after that, he kept blowing on my phone, kept blowing on my phone, kept blowing on my phone. So I said, as my final act of toxicity, the only way I'm going to get back with you is if you pay me my money back that I lost getting this car back. And he said, okay. And he gave me every last dime back. And after that, I blocked him.
That was it.
I had to get my money for my pain and suffering.
Yeah, of course. Which wasn't even nowhere near.
Nowhere near. Because like I said, I just gave you the watered down version.
Yeah.
So after that, it had taken a toll so much on my life that it spilled over into the lives of others. And that was the moment that I was like, nah. And I had actually one more lesson after that. I got with this other guy. We were in a relationship. Boom. Everything was going cool. Now, this guy wanted to do poly. I'm cool. I'm a rock star. I rock out with my cock out. I'm willing to try anything at least once as long as it's not like meth or something that I won't be able to turn back on.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm just being honest. So, we were in that situation. We jumped in the situation too fast. That was the thing. So you know how you jump in situations too fast, you're getting to know the person along the way.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. Because you know, people evolve. You can get to know them a whole lot throughout each season of their life. But what I mean is I didn't know enough about this person to call him my boyfriend or have him around my kids or to live with him or just progress as fast as we did. So as I started to learn a lot of parts, all of the parts of him, I realized that I didn't like him. I don't like you. You know? So it literally, and this is some real stuff, I'm telling you. That's my witness. This is some real stuff. It took for me to die. Okay? To die because of things that were going on over there. It was fighting. It was drugs. It was women. Just a bunch of stuff, right? I'm going to Walmart one day. I was about to get a tattoo, but the tattoo guy lived at his house, right? The thing is this, though. Ooh. I knew the tattoo guy way before I even met him.
Okay.
You know, so it wasn't I just want to be around you type of situation. He did one of my very first tattoos.
Okay.
So they just so happen to be friends. It's kind of like my worlds kind of collided there, you know? So I'm about to get the tattoo, and I'm going to Walmart to get my kids some snacks while they wait. Because they were with me. We were at his house. You know, they already know him, even though me and him ain't on this type of time no more and stuff like that. So I'm going across the street to the store, and I'm on the phone with this girl that I was friends with at the time. I said, girl, I'm about to go in this store. I'll call you back. I wake up in the back of an ambulance. The last thing that I remember was telling her, I'm about to go in the store. I'll call you back. I wake up in an ambulance. I had went into cardiac arrest.
What?
Yes. So they had to revive me It took a couple of tries. They revived me. I went to the hospital. And don't you know, while I was in this hospital, that same man that, because he was trying to get back with me during that time, he was giving me hell. He didn't offer, you okay? Do I need to bring you anything? Nothing. Nothing. My friends
And you
was
just
there.
you just came back to life, and he did that.
My friends were there. This is why my friends, my family, they was there. They were there.
Man.
So after that situation, I was like, you know what?
You don't deserve none of that.
I don't deserve this stuff. But why? I say I'm not okay with it. And I say it's not okay. But I'm literally with these people for all these time. Whether it be 3 months, 6 months, a year,
Yeah.
whatever. So what is it about me? And it does not take away from them being horrible people. But what is it about me that I keep attaching myself
So people like that.
to people like that? Emotionally unavailable,
Yeah.
mentally abusive, sometimes
Physically.
physically, sometimes financially.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, what I want to say is you didn't deserve anything you went through. And then you don't
Thank
look
you.
don't look like you went through the stuff you just told me.
Yeah,
Like
that's why they
we
hate
go
me now.
we go back to high school, and like I said, it's like the first time I seen you probably like a couple of years, but you didn't deserve it. And the men in your life, especially the models who just told me like that was you didn't deserve any of that. And
Oh yeah.
it wasn't you at all. It was them.
Oh yeah.
That it was them, and it comes with understanding that people aren't happy with themselves, but they'll project and do the things that you just said. While you were talking about that, I was thinking about Kill Bill because you literally are her.
Oh, yeah.
Like this girl got beat down. If y'all never seen Kill Bill, sum it up. She got beat down at her own wedding, and they thought she was dead, and she came back to life, and she got
Yes.
her revenge on all of them. And the last conversation she had with Bill, similar to how you had this last conversation too, was that I knew you were an assassin. I knew you kill people for a living. This is what you do. I know you beat women or whatever, but I never thought you would do that to me.
Yep.
I never thought you could do that to
I didn't
me.
realize you had the heart to do it to me.
Yeah, because I wouldn't do that to you. And that's a question. That's one of the things that I always say to people, especially this happened recently. Like recently I was talking to one of my friends about something he did, and I was like, it wasn't the fact you did what you did, it's the fact you did it to me, because I never would do that to you. No, I never have done that to you. So why do I garner it? And even with my past toxic relationships, like the stuff that they've done, like the immature antics and the mental abuse, the everything that they did is like, why did you do that? And it's like at the end of the day, it's because their lives are not where they want it to be. And they look at me or look at you. It's like, man, this girl glowing. This girl on camera glowing. We on camera right now glowing. And they not doing that. They not. And you were actually vulnerable enough to tell your story. And like, I didn't expect that story to go that deep. I didn't at all. Like, that was a lot. Like, you have overcame a lot in your life. You didn't deserve nothing you went through. I'm glad that you are on the other side of it. So how does it feel now to be free of those things?
It feels great because let me tell you, those demons that were unleashed upon me, they are still fighting those demons. My ex just the very last one I was just describing, he just stopped writing statuses about me like
a week ago.
Probably
a week
like
ago.
to my knowledge, probably the end of last year.
Oh my
And all of this stuff happened because you got to think about it too. Both of those situations were back to back, back to back. So
you didn't have a break.
I ain't
Like
get a
at all,
break.
not from toxicity.
And when you don't have a break too, when your mind is accustomed to being in overdrive, you don't even consider those type of things. You don't even think about those type of things. I have had so many moments during this awakening where I just throw up, sliding down the wall, crying because I'm like, How dare you? How dare you do that to us? But I'm talking to myself. I'm talking about myself.
Yeah.
Forget them. Life goes on. Like I said, they still miserable. My ex still sitting in the house right now with his baby mama, grieving my absence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. You long gone. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to punish myself for being a little girl that was trying to find something to hold on to.
What do you say to the woman that's going through what you just described? Because give or take, that's what 7-8 years of trauma, right? If I'm not
It's
mistaken,
probably longer than that,
okay,
honestly.
maybe close to 10. If you had to, from the day you met all the way until you got to the end, that's probably like 10
probably
years,
about
right?
10.
Yeah. So what would you say to the woman that's going through that right now?
I would say, in the end, nothing is worth losing yourself. You might gain him, you might gain temporary affection from him, but it's not worth the chunk of yourself that you lose in the process. And it's not worth the pieces that you have to pick up after the process either, because these people, they go on to live their lives. They on to their next victim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it may appear that they may be treating them a certain type of way. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. All that matters is who they were to you. Because people can be chameleons. They can wear a million different skins, blend into a million different backgrounds. It's not worth it. It's just not worth losing yourself. So my advice would be to sit down and ground yourself. Ask yourself, do you really deserve that? Also, if you have children, ask yourself, if your kid came to you and laid this scenario out to you, exactly what you're going through, what would you tell them? Would you want your daughter going through that?
No.
Would you want your son to treat somebody like that, or would you want him going through that?
That's deep.
Because my daughter, I'm her literal role model. She just came to me yesterday and said, Mommy, I want all the tattoos you got. And everything I do, my daughter tells me, Mommy, I want to be just like you. She want to smell like me. She want to dress like me.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So you think I want my baby to grow up and be like, because I want to be so much like my mom.
Yeah.
Because this is what she went through, so this is what love is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give me a man like that. No. I don't want that. She's too beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My advice would be to love yourself. And if we get real raw and uncut, stop being a weak-ass bitch. Stop being a weak-ass bitch.
Hey, she said that I didn't.
Stop
That's
being
why I like
afraid
having
to
women
stand on
the
your
show.
own 2 feet, because you do have some people that's afraid to be out there by themselves.
Yeah, it is a thing.
Because they don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
Whether that's financially,
Yeah.
you know,
Companionship.
whether it's companionship.
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid to be out there by themselves.
Yeah. You saw that status about people saying that how you go to a bar by yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Easy.
This not hard. It's not difficult at all.
Just go.
It's not just go. Like,
you have the most fun when you at the bar by yourself.
Yeah, every time I go to a restaurant, like I go and I order for one, I say order for one, and I laugh about it because like a lot of people don't do that.
Exactly.
It's because it's so common to have people with you on those situations. But we'll go on to the next topic. So I kind of want to go into sexual energy transmutation. You know how like people don't really talk about it a lot, but when you stop having sex and stop exerting that sexual energy, how have you seen your life change from that? Like when you abstain?
First of all, if that person is having a bad day, if y'all have already transferred that energy, then get what? You gonna have a bad day. And they gonna make sure of it. Okay? So since we've gotten to that point, I am so carefree. You got a little tube, get your sassy ass on. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You having a bad day, that's on you. Hang up on you, not in the mood. Call me when you over there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? man, it changes your life so much. You sleep better.
That's true. That's true. That's
Like,
true.
man, you eat better. You don't got no loss of appetite because of what this person is doing. And,
Yeah,
you know, all of these things. Man, you glow better.
that's true.
I'm telling you, your days go so much smoother when you're not taking on energy that does not belong to you in the first place.
Yeah. And that's the women perspective. Like far as men, y'all, I know y'all do everything for the booty. I get it. I understand. I've been there myself, man. But when you stop chasing the booty and you start chasing your purpose, you start seeing things differently. And you start moving differently. You start, actually acting on your purpose. Like I feel like even today, this episode we did, like I've never heard you tell that story before ever.
You
I
haven't?
haven't. I mean, I follow social media, but I never heard it. It's been, if I did hear it, I didn't hear the whole entire thing you just did. And I feel like that takes a person with purpose too to be transparent like that. And I think that's one of the biggest things when you have these conversations that, because you didn't help so many women by what you just said, you just don't know. But I say it to say to men out there that are trying to find their way, stop doing that. Like, and practice it, because you start to see the difference and change in your life, and you strengthen relationships around you just by stop doing it. Like, it's a big thing. Like, people may laugh at semen retention, all this other stuff, and no fap is not funny. It's not games when you sitting on there eating Cheetos, playing the game, fapping. All this, your life ain't full of purpose. It's not. And then women look at that too, and they get insistent on you. Yeah, that boy, he a creep. Oh yeah,
exactly.
She could tell, like, you doing all this stuff, what I'm saying, at home behind closed door and this screen, bro. You doing some freaking stuff. Like my boy Kendrick said, hey, it's a real thing. So you gotta take accountability for yourself and your actions. And once you do that and you actually pursue your purpose, your life is gonna change tremendously. That's for men and women. There's women out here doing their purpose too.
And also, stop. My last piece of advice on that is to stop letting any and everybody lay waste in your womb. Because not everybody.
Say that, look at the camera one more time. Say that. Lay waste in what?
Stop letting any and everybody lay waste in your womb. Not everybody is transferring love and light to you.
Yeah.
Some people, you lay with this person and you wake up and you depressed and you sad and you spiraling. You know what I'm saying? You don't got no appetite. You can't sleep. You can't get back in tune with yourself.
Yeah.
Because you have let trash lay waste in your womb.
That's deep.
For real. I mean it.
Care for yourself, self-respect, self-love.
Please.
Like, you have to start caring for yourself. And when you don't love yourself or care for yourself, they're going to treat you as such. And you, like she just told a story, she became toxic from all these toxic relationships because that's all she was around for years. And it takes a while to unlearn that trauma and redirect your life in the right direction. It takes work.
God,
like she been putting in work to do these. Yeah, it takes work, man, do all this stuff. But we're going to finish this up, man. I'm going to have a couple of these relationships, see what you think about them, and see which one you'd rather be in. So we're going to start with Martin and Gina or Will Smith and Jada.
Ooh. I'm going to say Martin and Gina.
Okay, why you picked them?
Because it's fictional, so it could have went either way.
Yeah.
So, and what I mean by either way is they had a few ups and downs, but they ended up married, in the end. And their story could have been written anyway.
Yeah.
That Will and Jada, they had a side dude and everything. They was in a throuple.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
What else you got for
What
me?
about Hov and Beyonce and Obamas?
Oh, why would you do that? I'm gonna say Obama's. And I'm gonna say that
you wanna have the White House feel, all the meetings and stuff.
It's a little bit beyond that. We kind of got to watch him actually love her out loud.
Yeah.
B and Jay, they're a little bit more private. You
Yeah,
know,
they
so
are
we
my
don't
father.
get to see, and I'm sure he does extravagant things for her
Yeah.
and things like that, but we don't really get to see it how we got to see it with the Obamas and Michelle holding it down and, you know, being the,
Yeah.
you know, the root to the
Yeah.
tree and Obama being the branches for the shade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we just got to see that a little bit more with them. So
I
that's
feel
why I'm
you.
going to go with the Obamas.
Well, what you think about Love and Basketball or Love Jones?
Love Jones. Love and
Really? You picked it?
basketball.
You come on, man. I was just gonna say Love.
Love and Basketball is a horror movie. It is not a love
You trying to make us
movie.
go viral?
No, let me tell you something
Tell me the
about
difference,
Love and
because
Basketball.
you talk about Love Basketball. I talk about Love Jones. It's fair. You talk about Love and Basketball first.
Okay,
Talk
cool.
about Love Basketball.
Love and Basketball, first of all, he bullied her when they were little kids. I had a dude that claimed when I was in elementary that I was his crush. And it grew into an unhealthy obsession, but we're not talking about that today. I'm telling you, you
Jeez.
got to have me
For
on more
elementary
than one
school?
episode. You got to have me on more than one episode. I'm telling you because I got some stories for you.
Jeez.
But
Elementary.
yes, to the point where one time he kicked me in my girl parts. Yes. And he as we grew up into adulthood, because we lived around the corner from each other like our whole lives, he expected for me to know that meant he liked me. No man that liked me
And
gonna
he
beat me
elementary
up.
school. Don't
Yes. So he beat her up in elementary school.
Yeah.
So he was mean to her then. When they got in high school, he treated her like crap. He was flaunting other girls around in front of her in college and everything. Regardless of what he felt like the reason was, he did this stuff.
They were friends.
So you don't treat your friends like that either. You treat your friends like crap.
No. But if you date somebody else, I mean, you date. What did he say when they was in the car? When he was like, "I'm going with Big Booty Brenda" or whatever it was.
Exactly.
Like, you felt like there was a form of disrespect.
Yes.
Okay.
And then after he had already disrespected her, he go tap on her window because his mom and them fighting and he needs some fucking where to sleep, and her dumb ass let him in.
Go back to therapy sessions. That's what I'm talking about. Therapy sessions. Okay. Then fast forward though. Fast forward. He going through his injury, right?
And he didn't want her until he was down and out. I was getting to that part.
Okay.
So it seems as though he didn't want her until he was all out of options and he was down and out.
Man, Quincy McCall.
On his last leg.
Man, cute, man. Cute.
And then they get to run off into the sunset because she has endured everything she needed to endure to prove that she loved him to become his woman. Meanwhile, she didn't hardly put him through nothing.
I get you on that. So for me personally, you right about that with Love and Basketball, because I've did that in my life personally where I kept trying to prove to
I'm
somebody.
about to kick you in your
I'm about to
shin.
no. I kept trying to prove to somebody that I'm the one.
Yeah.
Like I'm your man.
I'm sure we've all been there.
Yeah,
a
like I'm
time
your
or
man. I'm the
two.
one. Like, come on, now, pick me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to the military or doing this stuff. Like, this girl, and she know who she is. I ain't gonna say her name, but my whole life from middle school all the way up to the age of like 20 something, I just tried to prove to her that I was the man for her.
Right.
And it wasn't reciprocated. Like, she never had the moments, oh, you know what, I'm gonna prove to you I'm a good woman for you, or the woman. It was always one-sided. And I learned it from my mother. My mother had relationships that weren't the best, and she kept feeling that if a man didn't eat food, he can come here with me and eat some food, and he'll be here. And she had a nurturing mindset through pain. And I learned it through her, because men, we learn our love language through our mothers.
Yeah.
Especially in a single parent home.
Yeah.
So there's no knock to her at all. It's a great trait to have for the right person.
For the right person.
And Love and Basketball showed that when you go through that type of stuff and you get to them end moments, like, we never would see her part two, but we know if she really happy or not. We don't know. But we know that she proved throughout her whole entire movie that I like him and he wilding, basically. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
teaching women endurance.
Yeah, it is teaching endurance. And then you got to go through stuff.
But and people go through stuff, but you should never feel as low as he made her feel. And people go through stuff like life. You know, they might go through a death, which spirals into a period of time where they're not themselves.
Yeah.
Where they act differently and respond differently or don't respond at all.
Yeah.
But beating you up, constantly bringing you STDs, spending all your money, and then blaming you for it,
Yeah.
popping out outside babies, having kids, and he don't help you. You a single parent in a 2-parent household. That's not love.
No, it's not. Not at all. You right about that. But Daryl and Nina ain't too different because he met this girl. She was just leaving the old boy, and they have a conversation. The conversation was, "Hey, I'm gonna go see him." And what he say? He was like, "Oh, you can go.
Yeah.
You can go." And that moment was the shift because they also she interpreted it as, "Okay, well, he don't care, so I'm gonna go." And she went, and they got to arguing over cereal or whatever. And she came back and she saw that he was with somebody else or whatever, right? So that started the whole thing. And also in the movie, I peeped it too, man. She wasn't smoking at first until she got around him.
Right.
So like I said, the thing about men leading is a real true thing. So she was doing that with him, riding the bike and stuff with him, and they began to love each other when they were apart from one another, because I feel that Daryl worked on himself more when they went together. That's what I feel. So I can see what you're saying, but the only thing I don't like about Love Jones that we gave Nina a pass when she went with old boy in the hearse. That was her worst mistake, I think. You agree?
I think so too.
Yeah.
And it's just when you start looking at things through a different lens, because we're talking about this through a different lens.
Yeah.
Because there is a demographic of people who think both of these are the best love stories
Ever.
they ever seen.
Yeah. Like
Or
no
that
book
were
ain't
ever
nothing.
portrayed.
No book ain't nothing.
Come on now. Now the Notebook, he probably, I'm sorry. He probably shouldn't have. He endured a little bit too, because he just waited and waited and waited.
Yeah.
But
you couldn't deny he didn't love her though.
oh, he loved her.
He loved that girl. He loved that girl.
That's our jam. Right there,
He
the
loved that
Notebook,
girl.
I'm telling you.
He loved that girl.
He loved her. But if we look at it through a different lens, most love movies, a lot of the people don't deserve the things that they go through in order to get to that point of love.
You're right.
So, yeah.
You're right about that.
That's
yeah.
all I'm
yeah,
saying.
Daryl and Nina, man, they that's the thing I disagree with, was her doing that. Everything else pretty much fair game. When that move happened, because even me, I've had those conversations with men like, yeah, man, with me, she was like this or whatever, and I'm like, bro, I would say, he said, you usually get fired from your jobs. I quit. Like, these are conversations men really do have. Like,
Right.
And then you got men that are like, I ain't get to it yet, but alpha males that believe that women like them more because they are quote unquote alpha, right? Like, oh yeah, she gonna do whatever because she know that I'm an alpha, but that don't mean it at all. What you about to say? Your face. What you about to say?
I feel like an alpha male does not have to state that he is an alpha male. I feel like they walk in the room and they just got that feng shui. You just know.
Yeah.
Oh, he him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like when you get into all that, trying to piss on your territory and all that,
Yeah.
you a little boy hiding behind a title of some sort.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You ain't lying. And it's the part about alpha male. Like, even this part of this book I was reading is called The Moment the Man Demands by Jason Wilson. Well, The Moment Demands by Jason Wilson. He talk about it. The alpha male concept originated from studies of wolf behavior. Okay? Experts in animal behavior study the hierarchies within wolf packs and labeled the dominant ones alphas. Unfortunately, masses of men mistakenly believe that displaying animalistic behavior is the only way for a human male to lead, unaware that this kind of theory has been debunked.
Yes.
So, like you said, like, it's different between the alpha male and the comprehensive male. He talks about in his book, like, you hiding behind that little boy, like how Antoine Fisher talk about, like, who would cry for the little boy. That's a real thing. Like, your younger self, when you were little and the stuff that you couldn't do or whatever, that person is still in you.
Exactly.
And if you haven't found the conversation to have with that young lady, young prince, you got to talk to him. And say, hey, this is
I talk to
done.
myself a lot.
Yeah.
I hug myself a lot too.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like when I go through things, like I'm gonna tell you, that last little situation I went through when all of this stuff happened, typically when things happen to me, they happen in my mind in like a different type of setting. And what I mean by that is when that last situation happened, when I had to be resuscitated and the guy did what he did, in my mind, I sat in a big dark space, Indian style. I was a child, and I began walls made of steel and cement started to stack up around me, like very fast.
You feel trapped.
Like, that's how my mind was. Not necessarily trapped. That was my way of protecting myself, because if I build an impenetrable force around me, nobody or nothing can get through to hurt me. And this is how I block this person out to get away from them and to heal. I'm so serious right now. And when I was ready, I came to that impenetrable force because only I could get through. And I went in and I sat down and I said, "Are you ready?" And my younger self jumped up and just hugged me. "What took you so long? I've been waiting for you."
Yeah.
I almost got scared, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's deep.
That's what got me through that.
I feel you on it. Well, first, I want to thank you for coming. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your story. Like I said, I feel like it's something that's going to change a lot of people's lives. But tell the people where they can follow you on social media.
My Facebook name is Letty Ortiz. That's LettyOrtiz. I was about to say Ortiz. Jesus. And then my Instagram, which I just started, by the way, is the THE biggest BIGGETS ESS. Jesus. That was hard to get out, y'all. I'm not used to shouting out my social media and stuff. I don't even give people my social media.
Y'all gonna see this content, man, and I appreciate y'all for coming. But this is the end of the episode. Thank y'all for watching The Purpose of Talk.
Thank you.
Peace out.